Hi everyone, welcome to the Honest Academy. This is Talk with Justice. Welcome to my page. Now, as a fashion designer, as a tailor, aside the big machines that make work easier, aside the big space, aside the big things that make tailoring um easy, there are very tiny things that every tailor needs. And once you have this, you are much happier when working. You are eager to do some things that ordinarily you're angry to do, right? You want to do it always. You want to see yourself up and doing. You want to even start doing things that you've done before and start redoing it. These are very tiny tools that every fashion designer, every tailor should have. And when you have them in good condition, it's easy for you to work. Now, what is number one on the list of three small tools? I don't want to call them small tools, they're actually big. Some of them are quite big, right? Now, the first on my list is seam ripper. We have the big one and we have the small one. This is a very tiny tool in fashion designing every tailor need. Now, if you have a tool like this that is very sharp, a seam ripper that is very sharp like this, believe me, you want to rip every bad sewing that you come across. Anything that you're sewing that is not in alignment with what you want to do, you're definitely going to rip it because this here is very interesting and let me say very sweet to use. Ever since I got this tiny one that is very sharp, I can never leave a line that is not straight. And I can never leave it like that. I can never leave any bad sewing and wait for someone to help me to lose it. I just want to lose anything losable because if you know how to use this, I believe that I know rather that it is not every tailor or every fashion designer that knows how to use this. For some persons, it can be very frustrating. For some persons, they see it as a very slow something. For some persons, they are not interested, just want to use razor blades to do it. But this here is a lifesaver if you know how to use it very well. In between this line is very sharp, like a razor, like a blade, right? And the tip of this, the reason I prefer this small one is that the tip is very tiny and can go under any seam, right? So once it goes under any seam and rips it apart, that is makes it easier that you can just be going as fast as possible. And it's not as risky as a blade because if you use a sharp blade and you're not careful, you're just going to rip your garment apart. But with this, you can never do that. So this is a must-have for every fashion designer who is on the sewing machine or who is checking a quality control officer or something. So you can easily lose what is not right and let another the person who is sewing do it right. Now the next on my list is Woo, a sharp scissors. When you have a sharp scissors, please, a fashion designer, a tailor should abstain. One of the commandments is abstain from a blunt scissors. It can be frustrating. But once you have a sharp one, oh my goodness, you want to cut everything that comes across. Everything that you see, you want to cut it. Even the ones you've cut before, if you're not careful, you're going to recut them. As this ever happened to you, you want to cut whatever is before you. And the next thing that actually gets it that it affects so much is that you can easily cut your measuring tape. If you're not careful, you can cut your measuring tape once you get a sharp scissors, right? So this is very important. Please make it as sharp as possible. If possible, new ones as frequent as possible so that your work will be easier and you'll be happy to work on the table. Now, the next big thing, which is actually big, small but big, it is quite supposed to be small, but it is big because we are in Nigeria, and that is light. If you have quality light, there are persons who don't even know that there's any problem with regards to light in Nigeria, and there are some that it is quite frustrating. So for me, if I have the light 247, I want to get up in the middle of the night and do quite a lot of things. You want to keep on working because everywhere is bright. You don't feel like sleeping, you don't feel like lying down, you don't feel like doing anything else aside cutting, sewing, creating content, and stuff like that. Aside these three things, there are other things, but for me, these are so small but mighty. So tell me, which other things do you find quite interesting, a must have as a tailor, as a fashion designer that makes you happy and want to do the extraordinary things that normally you don't feel like, but you just have to. Okay, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.